Lasers are so friggin' awesome. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. I mean, I could put it awesome or so lasers friggin', but that wouldn't make much sense now, would it? So instead, I'll stick with the tried and true, lasers are so friggin' awesome. Now, as you know, I've reviewed some lasers on this channel before, a 3-watt laser, a 5-watt laser that's kind of like sitting over here behind me, and yeah, those were quite impressive little machines. I've had a lot of fun with them. But you know, the word little kind of stands out a bit. I mean, yes, these are small desktop units that anyone can use, but I think it's time to think bigger. It's time to think really big and even more powerful. So it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy, as this is DemonView's review of a much larger 10-watt Creality Falcon Laser Engraver cutter. Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. I do appreciate you tuning in. It's been a while for sure, but time to kick things off again, and we're doing it with one of the largest laser engraver cutting machines I've ever bought. And this is going to be a review of the Creality Laser Engraver machine, the 10-watt version, and that's for people who've used engravers before but now want to step up their game. Make no mistake about it, this is getting into the big league, like quite big. With its rather impressive 17 by 16 inch work surface and high precision laser that's capable of engraving acrylic, glass, wood, metal, this is a machine that's going to make others go, wow. It can cut up to 5mm basewood board or 3mm black acrylic in one pass at speeds up to 10,000mm a minute. In laser terms, that's fast. And although this is the base model, you can also get a rotary tool for this and air assist for making even cleaner cuts or engraves or more. So what is the advantage to getting a larger, much larger and more powerful laser engraver? Well, for one thing, size does matter. I'm no longer restricted to engraving small key rings, patches or coasters. Now I could engrave full-size cutting boards, decorative planking, even large pieces of driftwood that I found in my adventures. I mean, this thing's just bigger. Then with the more powerful laser, I'm not just engraving. If I want, I can actually up my project game by actually cutting with this thing. I mean, this can be used for ornaments, unique gifts, or even DIY projects that may require stencils. On top of that, even if I want to engrave, with a more powerful laser, it means that I can engrave even faster and increase my project speed. Now, instead of waiting 30 minutes to engrave something, I can do it in about 5 minutes, and all at a pretty reasonable price. I also don't need a huge laser guard and a protective cover that covers the eyes. Like, if I had one that's kind of comparable in size to that one, it would be massive, it would weigh a lot more, and it was basically, you know, cost a lot more with shipping. This has got one that just fits over the laser head with some magnets, and it's easy to detach or reattach. So everything is awesome with a larger laser engraver, right? I mean, there's no possible downside. Well, almost. I mean, if you're going to increase your laser size, there's probably one or two things you might want to consider. Number one, size really does matter. I mean, yeah, I get to work on larger artworks now, but look at the size of this thing. I mean, it barely fits on the table. So you're going to need pretty much a much larger workspace, and if you're short on workspace, you might want to keep like the smaller desktop options in mind. But if you have the workspace for it, then yeah, you should consider one of these. The second thing that we have to mention is the smell. Now, the nice thing about the smaller desktop option is that it's fully enclosed, has its own air filtration system, meanwhile this larger unit doesn't. In fact, if you're going to be working in an enclosed space, it can really get quite fumey, and that's not good. I mean, the Creality does sell things like fume filters, laser enclosures with venting so you can work fume-free. However, that's all an added expense on top of what you've already paid, so expenses keep mounting up as you add more things to it. Although if you're like me, you can probably cobble together your own system using a cheap indoor greenhouse and a workshop vacuum cleaner. I mean, if it works, go for it, but just realize that it's not going to be as pleasant, you know, fume-wise as using the smaller units. And then number three, since this is a much more powerful laser, you're really going to want to protect whatever surface you end up putting this laser on. And that means having to purchase one of these, which is a honeycomb work surface with a metal bed. Although frankly, I'd actually recommend something like that for even a smaller laser engraver. Protect your work surface. So all in all, am I happy with this laser engraver and cutter? Well, Yes. I mean, who wouldn't be? I mean, look at this thing. It's amazing. I mean, I can still use my desktop laser engraver for smaller projects, but now I'm not just restricted to smaller projects. I can scale up to working on even larger surfaces or put multiple projects down there at once and cut them or engrave them all at the same time. I mean, honestly, I can't wait to discover what I can do with this engraving cutting system, and that's what makes it ideal. I mean, the fact is, I'm going to be experimenting with this, creating with this, working on projects, and hey, even learning new software to increase my own usefulness. I've said it before, if you're a small business owner, getting a laser engraver allows you to quickly and easily create custom gifts, promotional pieces, or prizes for your customers. However, even if you're not a business owner, even if you're just someone who likes to do DIY or has a creative soul that needs some encouragement from time to time to try new things, this is going to be one of those things that's going to be perfect for all of that. The nights are getting longer, the weather's getting wetter, and this means that going outdoors slopping about in mud isn't really that an attractive idea. But if you're creating unique gifts or art projects when you're stuck indoors, well, ask me, that's something worth doing. So folks, this is my review of the Creality Falcon Laser Cutter and Engraver. Hopefully in the coming months I'll upload a few shorts on projects I've completed with it, but in the meantime, thank you for tuning in and can't wait to see you in the next video. Cheerio. Okay, so now I'm wondering if I can laser engrave a hot dog or maybe even a steak. I mean, come on, personalized meat messages. That's got to be worthy of an anniversary dinner or something. And it's just me wanting to mess about with my laser more. Yeah, let's see if that can be done.